The world-famous site in the Peruvian Andes was built by the Inca in the mid-15th century CE. Scientists are still unraveling its secrets. The spectacular Incan ruins of Machu Picchu in Peru. This Michelin-rated restaurateur found success in digital media with strategic vulnerability. Built high in the Peruvian Andes on the western edge of the Amazon basin, the Inca stronghold of Machu Picchu has astounded and confounded visitors since it was unveiled to the wider world more than 100 years ago by an ambitious Yale professor. The builders of Machu Picchu ruled a vast empire. The exact purpose of the site is unknown. Spanish colonizers never found Machu Picchu. It was mistakenly called the Lost City of the Inca. The find made Hiram Bingham famous. Yale and Peru fought over artifacts. Bingham may not have been Machu Picchu's first Western visitor. The Inca were master masons and engineers. The entire site is spiritually connected. Hikers can see a hidden temple. The number of daily visitors is limited by law. Naked tourists need not apply. Machu Picchu is a no-fly zone. The builders of Machu Picchu ruled a vast empire. Emerging from the Cusco region of Peru in the 13th century, the Inca dynasty came to dominate a huge swath of South America and was once the largest kingdom in the Americas. Ruled by an emperor, or Sapa Inca, who represented and was descended from the sun god, the Inca assimilated multiple regional tribes in a 300,000 square mile area to produce a complex empire with a population estimated between 3 and 12 million. The realm, which they called Tahuantinsuyu, or the Four Corners together, had 20,000 miles of roads, provincial governors, granaries and storehouses, high-altitude agriculture, and an economic system called mita, where citizens provided labor, goods, or military service to the state in exchange for food and protection. The exact purpose of the site is unknown. Alternately defined as a sanctuary and a citadel, Machu Picchu was constructed sometime in the mid-15th century, possibly by Pachacuti, the Sapa Inca who defeated the Chanque tribe and expanded the kingdom of Cusco into the vast Inca empire. For more than a century, researchers, archaeologists, anthropologists, and historians have postulated reasons behind the site's construction. Some believe it was a royal retreat for Pachacuti, whose name means he who shakes the earth, a theory supported by the discovery in Cusco's archives of a 16th century lawsuit by Pachacuti's descendants to get back lands, one of which was a retreat known as Picchu, which was in a broadly similar location to Machu Picchu. Others think it was a pilgrimage site to honor the founding of the Inca religion, or likely some combination of a spiritual and official estate built in a sacred landscape. Due to the discovery of nearby graves, there was even speculation that Machu Picchu was a nunnery for the Virgins of the Sun, a group of girls selected from villages to serve in temples and possibly offered as human sacrifices. However, this last theory has been largely discounted, as later analysis of the skeletons found them to be equal numbers of male and female, who were likely workers at the site. Spanish colonizers never found Machu Picchu. The arrival of Spanish conquistador Francisco Pizarro in 1532 forever altered the Inca Empire, a kingdom he described as so beautiful and has such fine buildings it would be remarkable even back in Spain. Pizarro and his forces ambushed, kidnapped, and later executed Inca leader Atahualpa, plundered much of the kingdom's riches, and destroyed many of the empire's temples and estates. The Inca launched guerrilla attacks from hidden fortresses for years, but after quelling the last of the rebellion in 1572, conquistadors failed to find Machu Picchu, which was abandoned by the Inca just a century after it was constructed and remained hidden and untouched for more than 200 years. It was mistakenly called the Lost City of the Inca. In 1911, Yale history professor Hiram Bingham III set out to find the fabled city of Vilcabamba, where the Emperor Manco Inca led a rebellion against Pizarro and the Spanish. Manco's fighters first settled in the fortress city Ollantaytambo before moving on to retreats unknown to the Spanish, first at Vitcos and then Vilcabamba. In his search, Bingham first visited the ruins at Ollantaytambo, then found those at Vitcos and Vilcabamba before searching for the lost city established by Manco Inca, not knowing he had in fact seen the real lost city of Vilcabamba, which was overrun by the jungle and called Espiritu Pampa. With the help of a local man named Melchor Arteaga and a young boy, Bingham searched the mountains above the Urubamba River Valley and found the ruins of Machu Picchu, which means Old Peak in the Quechua language, and was almost completely unknown to outsiders. Bingham, however, argued for decades that Machu Picchu and Vilcabamba were one and the same. He was finally disproven by writer and explorer Jean Savoy's rediscovery of the real Vilcabamba in the 1960s. The find made Hiram Bingham famous. Bingham returned to explore and excavate the Machu Picchu in 1912, 1914, and 1915 with funding from Yale and the National Geographic Society. The 1913 publication of his account in the Wonderland of Peru, which consumed an entire issue of National Geographic, helped catapult him and Machu Picchu to worldwide recognition. He later published Inca Land in 1922 and his most famous tome, Lost City of the Incas, which became a bestseller upon its release in 1948 and may have helped inspire the character of Indiana Jones. The road from Cusco to Machu Picchu, first opened in 1948, is called the Hiram Bingham Highway, and a plaque dedicated to Bingham sits outside the entrance to the site. Following his career as a professor and adventurer, Bingham served as an aviator during World War I and was elected governor of Connecticut in 1924. He resigned after just one day to fill a U.S. Senate seat left vacant by a legislator who died. He was elected to a full term in 1926. Yale and Peru fought over artifacts. Upon returning to the United States and Yale University for the last time, Bingham and his team brought back thousands of artifacts from Machu Picchu, including statues, pottery, jewelry, and even mummies. When Yale announced a touring exhibition in 2003, it reignited debate surrounding ownership of the artifacts that culminated in a 2008 lawsuit against the university. Peruvian President Alan Garcia and the Peruvian people pled for the artifacts' rightful return, with everyone from President Obama to the Vatican, before the two sides agreed to a memorandum of understanding in 2010. The last of the artifacts were repatriated to South America in 2012, and a joint venture of Peru and the university established the UNCAC Yale International Center for the study of Machu Picchu and Inca culture in Cusco. Bingham may not have been Machu Picchu's first Western visitor. Long before Bingham entered Machu Picchu, researchers believe a German businessman named Augusto Burns explored the area with the permission of the Peruvian government. Burns allegedly purchased land in the 1860s and set up a sawmill in the area to obtain gold and wood, but later sought only to loot treasure from Machu Picchu. In addition, a British missionary named Thomas Paine and another German supposedly found the site prior to Bingham, and an 1874 map with references to Machu Picchu, the hill, not necessarily the ruins, may have been seen by Bingham and given him clues to the existence and whereabouts of the Inca city. And 3 centuries earlier, in 1565, Diego Rodriguez de Figueroa mentioned that there used to be a bridge at a site he was staying in that allowed travel to Picho, probably one of the first written accounts of the site, although there is no indication in the text that he himself visited. The Inca were master masons and engineers. Despite its precarious position in a seismically unstable region, Machu Picchu has not fallen victim to the types of earthquakes that have devastated cities like Lima and Cusco. One reason is the craftsmanship of the stonemasons and engineers who designed and built the city. Deep foundations and a sophisticated drainage system prevented landslides, while precise stone carving allowed blocks to be placed tightly to one another without requiring mortar. The white granite blocks, cut by direct hammering with primitive hand tools, are said to dance during tremors and fall safely back into place, leaving the citadel largely undamaged over a 500-year period. The entire site is spiritually connected. The Inca not only revered the sun, but many other natural elements, including the moon, rivers, and mountains. Mountains, called Apus, were especially important given their proximity to so many Inca cities and settlements, and the peaks of Machu Picchu, Huayna Picchu, meaning New Peak, and Mount Salcantay were each directionally connected to the sacred Intihuatana stone. a 6-foot granite stone set near the main square of the city that may have functioned as a solar clock or calendar. Other imposing structures built for religious or ceremonial purposes include the Temple of the Three Windows and the Temple of the Sun, which features a window that lines up perfectly on the summer solstice. Hikers can see a hidden temple. Atop the peak of Machu Picchu, which can be visited by only 400 people per day, lies an unseen cave known as Templo de la Luna, or the Temple of the Moon. Thought to be a ceremonial shrine that once held mummies, the temple can be found off a trail that curls around the 679-foot-high peak and features intricate stonework, vaulted niches carved into the rock, 6 levels, and a stone throne. The number of daily visitors is limited by law. Machu Picchu was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983, and its popularity has continually skyrocketed, reaching a peak of more than 1 million visitors per year prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. Technically, no more than 4,500 tourists are allowed onto the site per day, but the limit is increased to 5,600 per day during the summer high season and holidays. Naked tourists need not apply. The 2010s trend of streaking or posing naked at Machu Picchu alarmed Peruvian officials. 8 tourists were cited for nudity at the site in just 1 week in 2014, including 4 Americans, despite the explicit warning on tickets that prohibit such activity. The Ministry of Culture called the acts unfortunate events that threaten cultural heritage. Foreign visitors are now required to hire a guide and stick to a predetermined route through the site. Machu Picchu is a no-fly zone. Peruvian President Humala took a prospecting flight around Machu Picchu in May 2014 and caused quite a stir, because the area has been off-limits to aircraft since 2006. The government had granted licenses to tourism companies who offered helicopter flights around the citadel. But concerns from environmentalists who believed species like the Andean condor, spectacled bear and vicuna would be adversely affected by the flights caused the Transport and Communications Ministry to reverse its decision just a week later.